Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. This is the four players that I think need to start this weekend. Johnny Kenny, Dane Murray, Luke McCowan and Arnie Engels. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments section about those four players. I think that Johnny Kenny needs to start. He's in the Europa League squad. He needs to get some game time. He offers us something a little bit different when it comes into the game this weekend, and when we look at the fixtures for the remainder of the month of September. There is only 3 games left in the calendar month. Up next is Partick Thistle in the Premier Sports Cup. Another must-win game, because if we don't win it, we're out, and there goes the chance of the treble. Brendan Rodgers won't do that. Brendan Rodgers will have a decision to make this weekend. We need players to come in and get some game time. We need players just to start picking up numbers game time wise and get them in the flow. But then you've got a game on Wednesday. Tuesday we'll fly out. The full squad will fly out. Does Brendan Rodgers make drastic changes this weekend and bring in the players that I've suggested? Johnny Kenny, Luke McCowan, Arnie Engels, Dane Murray. Does he play them this weekend? They will be in the squad for the Europa. The Champions League starts tonight. I think we should all have a prayer for our missed chances in the Champions League. Would Celtic have got into the Champions League if we were brought in Tenecte before now? I think we would have. He likes to say, there's no use talking about it, is there? When you look at the games that are remaining, we finish off the month with Hibernian coming to Celtic Park. Hibernian are going to be a hard team at Celtic Park. It is 3 must-win games. It's the only way to look at it. If we drop anything, the pressure will be on, especially when it comes to the Europa. We won our first game convincingly last year in the Champions League. We won it 5-1, and you thought that gets us off to a good start. We'll not talk about what happened after that. But can Celtic go away from home in Europe and get a good start in the Europa? If we can, it'll be fantastic. Are fans looking at Europa and thinking, I'm not really fussy about it this year. I want us to just win the league and everything else that's going on? Is that a deviation from the objectives that the players and the manager have? Because the players and the manager will want to go and try and get a treble. That's their agenda. They will want to do as well as they can in a European competition. That's what football players do. But getting back to Partick Thistle this weekend, when you do have players that maybe don't get in the squad as much as they should, when you look at the striking department, when you look at Johnny Kenny, he hasn't made the bench the last couple of weeks, and it's who do you leave out? We have 5 strikers. There are players that are going to be left on the bench every single week in the SPFL, whether you like it or not. I think the Cup gives us a good opportunity to bring in Luke McCowan, fantastic midfielder. Bring in Dane Murray in place of Liam Scales, because Dane Murray is going to need to get some game time as he heads into the Europa. Johnny Kenny, I think that he offers something different, and I think he should be given some game time, as well as Shin Yamada. Both those players will need game time going forward, and it's where do they fit in? But then Brendan Rodgers would be criticised if it doesn't go the right way, which would be absolutely horrendous for Brendan and the boys. But I don't think that will be the case. When you look at it, this guy, Tenecte, is an absolute star in the making. I think that he will be a player that could potentially be player of the season. With Jota being out injured, with Dyson Maeda, I think it could be Tenecte and Dyson for being player of the season. Just saying. But then again, you never know. You never know in Scottish football. In Celtic news, everyone has been going absolutely bonkers about a certain penalty. If this happens in Europe and the ball hits you here and your hand's up in this position, it's an unnatural position. Hands up like that is an unnatural position. If that happens in Europa, it's a penalty. If it happens in the Champions League, it's a penalty. People in Scotland always bemoan the fact that we don't do well in a European context. Do we get European referees in? Does that shut them up? We tried it before and it didn't really work, did it? Anyway, Celtic have got bigger problems. Brendan Rodgers have got bigger problems to contend with this week. Will anything happen at boardroom level? I very much doubt it, but there could be a make-weight that could happen. We'll wait and see. What players do you think should start this weekend? And how excited are you for the Europa? In other Celtic news, Tom Roderick has been spotted at a Lewis Capaldi gig. There's not a lot of... Everyone's talking about Kelechi. Could he start this weekend? Is he going to start in Europe? Does Brendan Rodgers change the formation to allow two strikers to play? With an abundance of strikers at Celtic for the first time in a long time, people are going to say, why is he not on the bench? Why is he not on the bench? And if you're only playing the one striker, you're only going to have one striker on the bench. It's just a matter of numbers. When it comes to Europa, we'll have maybe 2 or 3 strikers on the bench. But it's up to Brendan Rodgers, isn't it? He's the manager, and he's the one that picks the team. Anyway, it's just a quick video this morning. Tell me what you think about this. Oh, and an interesting one before we go. I'm going to put a comment in, the first comment under the video. And go and check out the Celtic B team, because it has 2 players that will get game time this weekend. Obviously, I think Dane Murray should get some game time this weekend because he will be on the flight out to the game in Europe. Colbin Donovan, who's in the B team also. And then go and have a look at the B team, because it might shock you on the lack of numbers. There has been about 6 or 7 promoted from the under 17s, I believe, into the B team. They've just not had their pictures taken yet and been put in the B team. And should Dane Murray really be in the first team now, and Donovan, I think that he deserves his place in the first team. Even though we have players out injured, I think the young lad has got the possibility to progress as a player. He was going to get put out on loan. Maybe they should be moved over to the first team. Anyway, check out that comment. And go and check out Celtic.com/teams/B team just for a little shock this morning. It may surprise you. When you look at the men's team, Sinisalo, he needs game time this weekend. And then people will say, well, what about Simpson Puzzi? There seems to be a lot of hurrah about Simpson Puzzi, the fact that he's not had a single minute of game time this season. We are only 5 games into the league. He's not had any game time in Europe either. He hasn't made the squad, and he hasn't even made the Europa squad. So people will say, well, why was he brought in? When you look at the fact that Trusty is injured, Inamura is Inamura. When you've got Tony Ralston injured and Alistair Johnson injured, Austin Trusty injured, that's 3 first team picks. That's 3 first team players that would be in and around the squad. Why was Simpson Puzzi brought to Celtic? He was obviously brought in as backup to someone in a certain position, but it's one of those things, and I'm not going to get overly worried about it. Inamura, but that's just the strangest one. And Kieran Tierney. A lot of people talking about Kieran Tierney's fitness. Do you play Kieran Tierney this weekend just to take his fitness? Do you play him the first 60 minutes of the game this weekend just to get his fitness up that next level? Or do you bring him on again towards the end of the game? It's an interesting one, because we have a player in Marcelo that, do you know, he looks quite a player himself. It's just a shame that we didn't get him in the door earlier. Anyway, it's just a quick video this morning. Tell me what you think about the players that could play this weekend, and are you looking forward to the Europa Cup, or is it just a distraction that we could do without this season? Even though the players won't think it like that. Make sure you join me at 8 PM Celtic Part Time tonight, where we'll talk about the news of the day. On that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.